This is The Runwave, candid chats with real runners about topics that affect the running community. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Runwave podcast. I am your host, Kim. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. If you are a return listener, welcome back to the show. I truly appreciate you tuning in week after week to the show. On today's episode, I am chatting with Brandy Talamoni, also known as Brandy the Runner on Instagram. I wanted to have her on the show because she is just so funny online. She is so upbeat and body conscious and shows such body positivity online. So I'm glad that you'll get to learn a little bit more about her. And we're talking body shaming in the running community, which she knows a lot about, a lot of us know a lot about. So I'm so happy to have her on, and let's get into the chat. Please welcome Brandy to the Runwave podcast, also known as Brandy the Runner on Instagram. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm so happy to finally get a chance to talk to you because I've been following you online, laughing at your videos, saying, what is she thinking running in the snow? And
I know. That was craziness. I would never do that again.
You're just like overall so entertaining. And when I wake up in the morning and I see your well, now you move. We'll get into that later. So I don't get your early morning post. I get them in the afternoon, but
right. Everyone's like, I don't see it till the afternoon now. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry.
She's 3 hours behind. We gotta adjust. Come on Instagram at noon to get your morning Brandy content.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about you. Where are you from?
I am from North Carolina. So I'm from a little small town called Snow Camp. It's in between Chapel Hill and Greensboro, just country, cows, you name it. That's where I'm from.
Snow Camp.
Yeah.
Wow. So you grew up with the farm life.
Yeah, farm life. My high school, we had a tractor day. Like that's how where everybody drove their tractors to school and everything. Like it's
So it's country.
Yeah.
Like hay bales on the side of the road, tipping cows country.
Yeah, like my husband laughs every single time. He's like, I can't believe you grew up here. Like, yeah, this is where I'm from. Like
So you finished high school and everything there?
Yeah, I finished high school there. And then immediately after high school, my mom had passed away when I was 18. So I joined the Marine Corps, and then I kind of just left the small town life. First place I was at was Okinawa, Japan. And then I got stationed in Camp Lejeune. That's where I met my husband. And then a year later, after coming back from Okinawa, we went right back to Okinawa as a family. And I had both my kids there. And then we went to Chicago, which is where we were running in the snow. And now we're in California.
Well, what made you want to join the military?
I didn't want to go to college, but I also didn't want to stay in my hometown. So I was like, this is probably the best option for me. And I just joined it, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I've gotten to see some pretty cool places that I don't think I would have ever explored. So,
And what branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
Right. We went crazy. We went full out crazy.
So what, because everyone, thinks about the military, they just think that you're, they're shooting, but there's like different jobs within the military.
So, like whenever you go to boot camp and stuff like that, like you learn how to fight and stuff like that, and you learn shooting. But my job was actually just warehouseman, so supply. Yeah. Just a basic
So you got up
job.
every day and you went to work, and you were in the military, but you had like a job.
Yeah, like just a normal job. And even now, it's the same for my husband. He wakes up every day, he goes and works out, and then he goes to his job and he comes home.
And a lot of people don't know that. I mean, I didn't know that until I interviewed someone else that was in the military, that there are actually jobs within the military. And I met a
Yeah.
recruiter recently, and that's her job. She goes out, and recruits people to join the military. But I think that's very interesting that everyone is not going to war or,
Yeah, because
on reserve.
that's what my mom had thought. She was like, "Oh my God, are you going to war?" I was like, "No, there's like actual jobs within the military. Like I'm actually so like they're stationed in different places. They're like, and you like rank up, like you get promoted in the military
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So if like a unit doesn't need you anymore, you go to a new unit that might need you, and you're still doing your job, and you're just growing as you go. And they have courses that teach you how to get better in your job.
Mhm. Now,
So
this was always curious to me, but what's your ethnic background? Because I was speaking to one of my friends about you. I was like, she looks like she might have a little black in her, but I'm not sure. But what is your background? I
I
wanted to know
am
this forever.
I am black and I am white.
That's right.
Yes. I actually found out last summer. I took a DNA test. I didn't know my father growing up. So,
Hmm.
and my mom was kind of like secretive about it, like I think she just was embarrassed. So she was a single mom. She didn't want to like put it out there, but
Hmm.
she never really told me. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to take a DNA test to find out. And it
Hmm.
came out black and white. I was like, well, we knew. I mean, there's no way you couldn't tell, but
Hmm. Hmm.
so
Wow. So your father, he from the same town that you grew up in, or you
um
you never found out?
never found out. So just that's kind of a mystery.
When you take, I haven't taken one. I want to, but I kind of don't want to give them my DNA to have on file. But when you take those tests, there's like connections, and you can connect to other family members if they authorize it.
Yeah. Yeah. So far I've connected with like cousins on my father's side, but I haven't like
Hmm.
connected to him yet.
Yeah.
Because like when they see me pop up, they're like, "Who's your dad?" I'm like, "Well, I guess we're finding out together." Like, because I don't know either.
What was that
So,
like growing up for you? Like, what was the ethnic makeup of the town you were from?
mostly white. I grew up with my white side, and so my family, we lived on like one big old property. So
Hmm.
we had my grandparents' house in the front, my uncle's house was in the front, and then my mom and I stayed out back in the trailer. And my uncle was like kind of like the closest thing to a dad to me. So
Hmm.
he would go to all my band stuff, all my track stuff. If my mom had to work late, he made sure like I was taken care of basically. And yeah, just kind of grew up with my cousins near me. And me and my cousins were all like pretty like tight. So
Hmm. So
kind
you
of,
said, when did you leave the military? 'Cause I know you said you had your children overseas, or are you still in the
I
military?
no, I'm out the military.
Okay.
I left the military in 2015. We had decided because, especially with the military, you never know if somebody's going to deploy or not like that. And we
Hmm.
wanted one parent to kind of be that stableness for the kids. So, well, kid at the time, but so I was like, well, it makes better sense for you to stay in because, you're more athletic. I'm not.
Yes, you are. Now you are.
Now I am, but I was like, you're more athletic, I don't wanna I like my body cannot handle, and I'm glad I did because my body probably couldn't handle the
Hmm.
military, like as demanding as it is, and trying to take care of the kids. So I got
Hmm.
out in 2015 and I'm happy with that decision.
So how did you and your husband meet? How does that
we
work?
were
Is there like a Facebook for military and y'all on there and you're like, oh, she's
we were
cute.
in
Let me
this
hit her up.
we were actually in the same unit.
Oh.
We were in the same unit. As soon as I moved there, we had met and we became friends, and then it just kind of clicked, and we're like, oh yeah, we like each other, and we're living in the barracks, so that's kind of like, you have your room, he has his room, and then I was like, okay, well, we're over barracks life, let's get married, and
Now,
like
what's the barracks? Is that like apartments? You're
it's
not out in
kind
a
of like,
tent somewhere. Like, what is that?
yeah, kind of like an apartment, but not as nice as an apartment. Like you at least have a bathroom, a sink, and a closet and a bed, but you don't have like a kitchen in your barracks room. At least mine never did, but it's just like the bare minimum. Because when you're a single, like I guess somebody that's single in the military, you have a thing called the chow hall, which is where you eat at. So you wouldn't need like a kitchen and stuff like that because you have the chow hall for your food. So yeah.
So do they allow like sleepovers? Or do you have
No.
to sneak around and do that?
People snuck around. We snuck around. I'm gonna get him in trouble. I'm just kidding.
So that's how the magic happened. So you had your kids overseas.
Yeah,
you said?
both of them. Yes.
And do you have them like, so the military, the base is considered like, is
US,
it like a US?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's considered US soil. So they're US citizens and everything. They just have a different type of birth certificate. So they have like a birth abroad type birth certificate. So it's pretty cool.
So when did you get into this thing that we love called recreational running?
After my daughter, I was like, you know what? I want to work out. But when we were living overseas, we didn't have a gym that had childcare. And the mommy rooms only had like 10-pound dumbbells. And I was like, well, I need something. You know, I want to move. I don't want to just be cooped up in the house. So I bought this like cheap little like stroller. It was $99. It was the worst thing ever. It would shake. I mean, I would be pushing her and it would shake. And I just started running from there. And I was like, okay, well, I can bring her along with me. I can give her like a fan and I can just go and die out on these hills. I mean, we all know, if you follow me, you know I don't like no hills. So
me either.
Right? You know how it is. So I just started pushing her and then like eventually I bought me a nicer stroller because I was like, okay, well, it seems like I'm enjoying this. I might as well invest in this. So I started pushing her and then I went on to train for a marathon. Unfortunately, I didn't finish that first marathon. So that was a big bummer for me. But that same year, I got pregnant with my son. I bought a double stroller and I went on to train for a marathon in 2019 and I finished. So
now I don't know how you push those strollers around because that's like an extra, 30 pounds per kid plus the stroller. Yeah. Like that's a lot of extra weight. You have to be strong to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
And you still do it now, right?
I still do it now, time to time. My son's big now, so it's a little bit, you know, I don't want to push myself up a hill, much less my kid up the hill. So I try to avoid it. You know, like I'll be like, okay, you got to get out because mommy's not pushing you and the stroller up the hill. So,
So how old are your kids now?
So I have one that's 6 and one that will be 4 this year.
Okay, so 2 toddlers.
Yeah.
And how do you balance it all? Like running, having a family, having 2 little ones running around?
It's hard. I think I just try to find like windows of opportunity. Like in Illinois, I had a treadmill, so it was a lot easier to be able to get my runs in because I was able to just be like, okay, mommy's gonna run, y'all just play here. I sold my treadmill before we left, so now it's like, okay, when will my husband be home? Or okay, one kid's in school, I'm just gonna push this other kid for now. Or even like today, I was like, I'm gonna do hill repeats. My kid can be at the top of the hill and I'll just run up and down the hill. As long as I can see him, he's fine. And he plays in the dirt and he's happy. He plays like dinosaurs and dirt and rocks. And, you know, it's just trying to find like, okay, hey, there's this window of opportunity. I can get like a quick little mile in. Or, hey, I can get like a whole hour run in today. So I'm going to go do that.
And you know what? Single folks or like parents who aren't like the primary caregiver, like they don't understand like the struggle of a mother.
Yeah.
to get it in where you can fit it in. Because when you have a little window, you have to take that window and,
Yeah.
do what you can when you can. So kudos to
Yeah.
you and all the mothers out there that are making it happen in the home and also getting it in outside when we have to get it in, right?
Yeah. Doing it whenever we can.
So you mentioned Illinois. I knew you were somewhere cold. I didn't know exactly where, but I remember all of those pictures of you in shorts in the snow. I'm like, did she really run in the snow with these shorts on?
Yeah, some of them I did, some of them I didn't. It just depended on the wind chill. If there was no wind chill, I could do it. If there was a wind chill, oh no, child.
It gets cold in Illinois. Wait, how far were you from Chicago?
I was about 45 minutes from
So you were pretty
Chicago.
close. Okay.
Yeah. So we got those negative tips. I ain't never felt nothing like that. I'm from North Carolina, but like the South. So like my uncle would be texting me. He was like, "How is it up there?" Like, I'm cold. Like, I ain't never.
It's not hot. It's winter in Illinois. Yeah. It's brick.
He down there at North Carolina, bipolar weather, like 70 one day, 30 the next. He's like, oh, it's 70 degrees to get. We'll send it up here. I'm cold.
Listen, I've only been there once for Chicago Marathon, and that's like what? I think it was September when I did it. It's October now, but I think it was September. But when they say like Chicago is the windy city, like they're not lying. I can't even imagine how cold it is when you factor the snow and the wind into
it. And then like it was crazy because like it was snow and then it'd be like a couple more days and then more snow would come and then you just got snow like it's not like the South where it's like, okay, the snow melts like the next day. Like it was like snow and they're trying to like pack it down and then more snow would come. I was so sick.
So you're happy to have moved away from Illinois?
Yeah, like my husband was like, what if they send us to like North Carolina? I was like, it's out of Illinois. It's like, I don't think you understand. Like, I want out of here.
So you don't get to pick where you go. The military just sends you wherever?
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's kind of needs of the military. So if they need someone here, they're going to send you there. But yeah, my husband was like, hey, we got the opportunity to go to California. I was like, take it.
Now, what part of California are you in now?
We are in Oceanside area. So it's about an hour up from San Diego.
Okay. I've been to San Diego.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. They had a fair there, though. You have to go to the San Diego State Fair.
I'll check it out.
Oh my God, the food was so good.
I'll have to check it out. See, I don't really go to San Diego all that much, but my friend's down there. So every once in a while, I'll meet up with her. But for the most part, I stay up here. I mean, it's very quiet in the area that we're at. So, but we're kind of more on like the big base. Because they have like multiple ones, but we're on the bigger base, so it's very quiet. I like it. I do miss living in Illinois and like everything being so close. Like we lived right behind Target over there, and I miss that. Like, I miss that a lot. But overall,
everywhere now.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, here we go. Like, not no quick little walk no more.
Well, hopefully it's not like LA with that traffic they have down there.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, we've hit some traffic, but not like that. Like I've been able to like zipper through, make my way through. I think the only time there's really bad traffic is if somebody wrecks, but.
So how's the running there compared to what it was like in Illinois?
I love it. We have a trail right outside our little neighborhood. I go on all the time. I have a track really close by to me that I go to all the time. I love it. And then now I hike more. So I try to meet up with people. I try to go for hikes. So I'll be like, oh, hey, let's go check out this trail. And me and a friend will go check it out. I did one a couple weeks ago down in San Diego. It kicked my butt. I mean, it was a big old uphill. I mean, and like I said, I don't like no hills, but the views are beautiful.
Yeah.
like it's funny, like it's like I don't like hills at all, but I'll take all the pictures at the top, like geez,
Hmm.
even though I know I was playing the whole entire time, like whoo no.
I'm the same way. I am the same. I like it flat and straight.
Yeah. I was like, the downhill's nice, and everybody's like, oh, and I'm like, oh no, I love this. I can go now.
Mhm. So is there like a running community there?
There is. I just haven't really went out. I'm very shy I
Mhm.
know, right? I'm very shy. Right. I'm very shy when it comes to meeting people, so I haven't really like went to like meet some of the run communities. So I'm in the groups, but I just don't, I'm just a lurker, like, hello.
I'm here, but not quite.
Yeah. Like I might come. I'm just looking at the pictures.
Hmm.
Might need to see if I need to add this, but for the most part, for most of my like routes, I just use like the All Trails app, and I'll read reviews on that, see if it's on base or off base, because there's a lot of trails on base that I didn't even realize were here. So I'm like, oh, okay.
See, and I have never even heard of that app, All Trails.
Yeah, All Trails. And they'll tell you like what type of like terrain it is, if it's like moderate, easy, hard. I use it some in Illinois, and that's how I was able to start kind of stepping into trail running, because they had
Hmm.
some like areas that I didn't even know existed. I'm like, oh, this was here? Like,
Hmm.
okay.
I need to look into that. Not like I like running trails anyway, but it's nice to switch it up every once and again,
Every
get
once in a
something different
yeah.
in.
And like people share photos, so you're able to see like what type of terrain it is, if it's
Hmm.
pavement, if it's soft,
Hmm.
like I really like it. So that's
So
how
what
I
kind of,
find my areas.
I see. What kind of sneakers are you running in at the moment?
Right now, I run in all different types, but I'd say Hoka Cliftons are the ones I wear probably the most.
A lot of people are saying those Hokas now, and I thought that I still haven't tried them because they were so hideous. Like when they first came out, they were like the
They were so
ugliest.
ugly. I called them chunky boys, but I was like, oh, they're ugly.
They were hideous. And one of my friends started running in them. She's like, look at these, they're not bad. I'm like, yeah, they're okay. They're not as ugly as they used to be, but
They still look ugly. Some of them, I'm like, who made this?
but are they comfortable though? Like I hear
Oh
that they're
my
like
God.
clouds, like you're
Yes.
running on clouds.
So, they have like different levels of cushion, but I would say
Mhm.
the Cliftons are in that middle where it's not too much, but it's not as much as like one of their Bondi ones, which is just really chunky, really.
Mhm.
I don't like a heavy shoe. I like a kind of lightweight shoe. So
Me
I like the
too. Me
Cliftons.
too.
Yeah. So that's why I like the Cliftons. They're probably about 8 ounces, maybe at the max, probably like 7.8. But they're, they just really give me really good support for my knees. I got some weak
Mhm.
knees. I ain't got the knees I had in my early 20s. I don't know how I was pop locking, dropping in it whenever I was in middle school, because ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Listen,
But
we get older and things don't work how they used to work back in the day.
so yeah, so I really like them. They're so comfortable. They give me really good support, and I wear them on the trails too, and they still do really good. So they are probably my favorite.
And are you training for anything at the moment?
Right now, I'm kind of in like an in between window before I start half marathon training. I'm planning to do Carlsbad half. And then
Hmm.
my ultimate goal is to run 30 miles for my 30th birthday in May.
Girl, you
I
are
know.
brave. But you've done ultras before though.
Yeah, I've done one. I did one last year for Marine Corps. The whole thing got like canceled. So I did the Marine
Yeah.
Corps ultra marathon. I did all three of them, the 10K marathon and the 50K, all within that month. It was
Wow.
crazy. I would never do that again, but
Yeah, like
I was a little
marathon is
dumb.
like my least favorite distance. I only do it to get the majors and I still haven't gotten all the majors.
I wanted to do the majors one day. I can't ever get into any of them. I put my name in. I can't ever get in. I'm like, y'all just don't want it to happen. All right.
Girl, listen, it was before everyone started running the majors, it was like easier to get in. And that's when like I knocked some down, but I said, I have time. But no, now
Not
it's
everybody
like
doing them.
everybody's doing them and you just can't get in anymore. Like,
Yeah, like I mean, the whole time we were at Chicago, all 3 years, I put my name in, never got accepted. I was like, I live right down the road. Come
you know
on.
what? My friend was the same way, and he finally got in this year. And I said, you only got in because no one wants to do it. But
Yeah.
Chicago was the marathon that like took everybody. They
Yeah.
took everybody. Like I couldn't understand. I can't believe they didn't take you.
I just never get the look.
Well, maybe
So
now that you moved, you apply with the California address, and they'll probably take you then.
That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna see a post. It's gonna be like, guess what, guys? I'm going back to Chicago.
Yeah, but it's coming up this weekend too. Yeah, not this weekend. I did get 2 or 3 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, I did get to volunteer for that one. It's really cool. I mean, it's a great race. I mean, all the Chicago races are pretty good. So,
and it's mostly flat too, so you'll love it.
Yeah, I know there's that hill at the end, but you know, I don't like no hill.
Listen, I've seen way worse. Chicago was like a cakewalk compared to some of these other races.
Climbing
mountains. I want to get into the reason why I wanted to have you on the show, because you know, when I look at your feed, I just see someone that is so self-confident, so body positive, and just has it all together up here, because it takes like you mentally have to have it together.
I don't know,
but
I mean, if you say so.
You know, I want to talk about body shaming in the running community.
Oh yeah.
Now, I saw a recent post that you put up. I think it was last week actually. And this post was from September 23rd, 2015. And the location says Okinawa, Japan. So you're in Japan then. And you said, I'll never embrace these stretch marks. Ugh, it sucks. When you already have negative body image problem. Yeah, I know I created a human. I've heard it all before, but again, not something I embrace.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get from that post in 2015 to now?
It's so crazy. Like, I was sitting there thinking, like, how did this happen? I think a lot of it was, you know, I started changing who I was around. Because at the time, like, the people that I was around were people that, you know, they were just like, I gotta be a certain size, or I gotta look a certain way, or, oh my God, my stretch mark. You get what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be around that. And I don't want people that are around me to think like there's something wrong with their body too. So I started changing who I was around, and I started doing things that made me feel good. And for me, that's lifting, that's running. And I guess eventually it just kind of went away. Like, it was like, oh, I don't care about my stretch marks. They're not what people see when they see me, you know, like, it's a stretch mark. I've had them since I was like 8. Like, who cares? So I think for me, it was just
have them.
Yeah. So I think for me, it was kind of like changing who I was around. Like, okay, I don't want to be around people that are so negative about themselves. And I also need to learn to love myself more. And I'm not going to get anywhere in my journey if I'm always constantly hating myself. So, you know, like every morning I would wake up, I would be like, I always compliment myself with 5 things in the morning. I find something to love about myself. I'm like, what do I love about myself today? And I think with that, I started loving myself more. And it was becoming less of me nitpicking myself. It was, oh, I love myself. I'm a great person. If people can't see me for my personality and they only see my body, then they don't know me. So it's just kind of like, you know, you got to tell yourself, what do I love about myself? What are my strengths? Oh, I did this the other day. Is someone going to be looking at my stretch marks when I deadlifted 200 pounds? No. They're going to see that I deadlifted 200 pounds. So I think it's kind of like who cares? My husband doesn't care. He's like, you gave me kids.
Hello.
So, right?
But when you first started running, did other people have a negative perception of your body type?
I felt like sometimes it was like, it kind of felt like, oh, she's bigger, she's gonna be slower. Um, you know, and but with all the negative, there was also positives. There was
Mm.
people that are like, oh my God, you're the same size as me. You're running too. If you can run, I can run too. So it was always like, okay, I'm going to focus more on the positive people, the people that, you know, that are like, okay, hey, she's doing it. Why not me?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I definitely was around some people that did make me feel a little weird. Like, if you know me, I like to eat when I run. I'm eating about every 30 minutes, okay? And I would sometimes feel self-conscious because, you know, like an hour into like a long run, I'm needing to eat. And my friends are like, oh, I don't need to eat. And I'm like, well, I gotta eat. Like, I can't be out here not
Everybody has
eating.
to eat when you run. You need fuel to run. Like that's
Yeah.
reality.
And luckily, like I started meeting other runner friends that were like, oh, you're stopping to run to eat? Okay, we're gonna eat too. Like, and we'd be sitting out there. I mean, in Japan, we're eating like these rice balls, and I mean, it was good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I did feel like at first, like, oh my gosh, like, why am I around these people that don't like to eat? And I need this. Like, I need energy. And I, you know, because at first, like when I started running, it was like, oh, I just want to lose weight. I just want to be a certain size. Now I'm like, okay, I just want to run because it makes me feel good and I got goals I want to do. If I lose weight along the way, okay. If not, okay. Like, hey, I'm still out here doing the work.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I think a lot of the problem is that this like skinny body
Mm-hmm.
image, especially in running, is constantly shoved down our throat. That
It
like
is.
some people don't know that someone that looks like, because most of us don't look like that, right? We're on
Yeah.
that like up and down 90
And then, you know,
pounds.
like, especially when you're around people who are the image and, you know, like you try to be very supportive, but sometimes that takes a tear on your mental health as well when they're so negative about their body and they're like, oh, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
fat, and they have abs or they just
And that's
have
the
the
other side
body.
of it. Because you
They
can
just
be
have the
skinny and have
body.
a
And it's
negative
like,
perception of your body as well.
yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I want to be a person that loves my body throughout the whole journey. So if I'm this size now, hey, I love my body. If I lose weight and I'm a smaller size, hey, I still love my body. I think it's very important that whoever you are, you love your body and you look at it as, hey, this body does these things. My body has done this. My body has done this, instead of, I got to look like this girl on Runner's World, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
We ain't even gonna talk about Runner's World because
I know.
still got a bone to pick with them, but
I, me too. They're always pushing like the weight loss too. Like every article that pops up for me is just about weight loss or getting abs while running. And it's like, no, if we're being technical, abs are made in the kitchen, but all right.
yeah, I think that they just have
They're all over the place.
whoever is running that mag, it's the staff. Whoever is putting the content out there are the
Yeah.
ones that these are their thoughts. And it's because they don't have other people in the room. They don't have people that look like us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that this is not the type of content that we should be putting
And
out.
it's crazy because you see like on the comments or when people share these posts, they're like, oh, here they are doing this again. When are we going to get something else? But then when they do share someone like us or someone bigger, their comments are positive. Thank you for showing a runner that looks like me. And you would think as a magazine that they would look at it and be like, hey, you know what? We need to change direction.
Because they don't think that that will sell. But if they look at what's going on in the world today, that is what sells.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's not like I'm asking every single magazine or every single article to share a bigger runner. I'm just saying there doesn't always have to be this running for weight loss story. Why can't we run because it makes us feel good? Why can't we just be runners because, hey, you know what? I have this size body, but I'm still doing it just like everybody else. I'm still training just like everybody else. I may not
Yeah.
be as fast as them, but that's fine. I'm still out here. So
And
it's hard.
I hate that fast thing. Like fast is relative.
Yeah.
Like fast is like Kipchoge is fast.
Yeah.
You know, these
Like,
guys out here running
like
like
in the Marine
7, 8 minute
Corps,
miles. They're not
yeah,
winning
like,
any money.
right? Like in the Marine Corps, I used to run like 8-minute miles. And now I'm over here like, hey, I might have got an 11-minute mile. And I'm like, whoo, child, look at me. Look at me. Like, that's an Olympic race for me. I mean,
You know, I hate that when people talk about being fast and this person is slow and like,
yeah.
none of y'all are winning money. None of y'all are making money at this. Like,
Yeah. This is for
fast in the grand
fun.
scheme, you know?
Yeah.
And
This
that's
is
where I
for
think we're
fun.
losing it. Like social media has like our brains like warped into something that it shouldn't be.
Or, you know, like a lot of people, you know, they'll be like, oh, I ran this at an easy pace. And their easy pace is still close to their race pace. And I'm like, they're
Bro,
not
that's
the
not an
same.
easy pace.
That's not an easy pace for you. Like I see it. You know, like I'm not trying to judge, but I'm just saying, like, if your regular pace and your race pace are the same, come on. But
yeah, I feel like those type of people are looking for that gratification. Like they want that praise from other people, and like that's the other side.
That's why I deleted Strava. You know, that's part of the reason why I deleted Strava is because I was running way too fast for what my body needs, especially running with a stroller. My body wasn't recovering the right way. And I just felt this sense of pressure, like, well, people are going to make fun of me if I'm not putting up these impressive numbers. And so I deleted it. And ever since I did that, I was like, huh, look at that. I feel better because I'm running for me, not for them.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm not going to be on no podium. Like, that's fine. I don't need to be on no podium. Like, as long as I get my medal at the end, I'm fine. Okay.
Right.
Just give me my medal, give me my cookie, give me my chocolate milk, and we're calling it a day. Okay.
And you're getting the same medal as me. You paid the same race registration fee as me. So
exactly. Yeah. It's just crazy, you know. And India, Miles from India. She was talking about how, like, you know, especially with social media, people don't like to share that, you know, running's not always glamorous. You know, we got those hard runs, and I'm glad like she shared like that, because it's true. Like, you see a lot of people like, I'm so happy, like, no, it's okay to have a crappy run. Like, it's okay. Like,
you know what? I think those posts where we complain about the run, like those are the posts that get the most action. Those are the ones, because like people like I can relate to that. Like when I have a great run when I'm not running. That's my good run, right?
I posted something the other week. I was like, man, this run sucked. And let me tell you, it just popped off. I was
like, those are the posts. Like, those are the relatable posts. Like, people don't want to see these cookie cutter, like, selfies. I hate selfies. I hate selfies. Okay, like selfies are the bane of my existence.
And I like sometimes I'll forget my tripod. I'll be like, dang, I gotta take it. And you know, like I'm trying to do like the MySpace angles, but I ain't done MySpace.
The arm in the picture, like you don't gotta post every run, bro. Just skip this one. Let this one go.
Look, sometimes I just do a reel. I'd be like, you know what? It's a real day. It's a real day.
And speaking of reels, I have another quote from you. Okay. Every time a reel of mine gets traction, I already mentally prepare myself for trolls. Most make fun of my face, most make fun of my size, and make fun of my body. Others say they can't tell if I'm a man or not because I have pigmentation above my lip.
Yep.
How do you deal with these people?
Honestly, somebody messaged me after I posted that, and they were like, hey, did you know you can filter out comments?
You can.
Like, so I started filtering out the comments, but most of the time, I will say anytime a reel gets traction, if somebody's body shaming me or making fun of me, there's like 20 people that I don't even know jumping down their throat. Like, well, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I don't got to do nothing if I don't, because like I'm not confrontational. I mean, I may talk a big game, but I'm not confrontational at all. So
Mm-hmm.
when somebody raises something like that, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? But then somebody's already getting on the them. Well, who are you? Mr. Private profile? Like, what are you doing?
Definition of a troll, right?
Yeah. Like,
how does that like make you feel? Does it hurt a little bit?
It does. I had someone comment. It was whenever I made like that race sign one where I was talking about like race signs you see on like a race and everything. And someone's like, you're too fat to be running half marathons. And in my mind, I'm like, well, if I don't do anything, y'all get mad. If I do something, you'll get mad. So there's no pleasing anybody. So just let me be. Like, I don't know why like people just go and just crap on other people's days. Like, it's never made any sense to me.
It's something wrong with them.
Yeah. And like, when those comments get to me, sometimes like if I'm having like a day, because it's not always every day where I love myself. There's days where I'm just like, and then somebody makes a comment like that. It's like, man, like that really cut deep. And sometimes I cry. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. But then I'm like, no, screw that. You don't know me. Go away. Like,
I often wonder how like celebrities that have millions of followers like deal with those kind of comments. Do they cut the notifications off? Like,
yeah, and they're
like, you can be strong, but like no one is that strong. Like at some point, like, it gets to you.
Yeah, and I had a reel go like crazy viral before. It got 11 million views, and I was like, whoa, really? This is crazy. Like my little small town country butt getting all these views. Something ain't right. And it stressed me out so bad that I was like, I'm about to delete my social media, because there's like, how do celebrities do this? And I mean, we're talking, these celebrities are getting this every single day. I don't know how they do it.
I think a lot of them don't run their social media. That has to be, because I don't.
There's no way. There's no way. They must not be on it.
And people don't think about, like, especially like runners, like everyone is not strong. Like you control the wrong person and it can lead down a path.
Or like, for example, Boston Marathon. You remember whenever they came out with like the virtual option for this year? Oh my God. The comments under that post were so ugly. People were just so, well, I deserved my spot. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's a virtual race.
There's no race this year. What spot?
Virtual race. Like, oh, I earned this medal, or I earned this jacket. And people are like, it's gonna be weird to see people walking around with the 2021 Boston Marathon jacket. And I'm like, y'all are so like,
the Boston snobs are the worst. The Boston Marathon snobs. Oh my God. They are just like, they're on another level.
And like, I'm reading these comments, and these are people that have messaged me like, oh my God, your story inspires me. And I'm like, you're commenting stuff like this? And I'm supposed to feel like I inspire people like you? No. You gonna make fun of me if I should have signed up for the race just to make everybody mad. Went and hiked the 26 miles just to earn a medal. Like, it was crazy. I just wish people were kinder and thought about their words. Yeah. Especially when they like voice their frustrations. It's like, come on.
I mean, look, I want to thank you, because seeing what you post inspires me. Yeah. And, like I have like limits of what I'm going to post, like if I'm on vacation, I'll post them in my bathing suit or whatever. But like just some things that I don't post because I don't want like the feedback. I don't want the attention from men. Yeah. I don't want women on their BS, because women are like the worst critics ever.
They are. And then they're turn around and be like, self-love. And I'm like,
you're
what?
criticizing and now you're talking about that. So like, I commend
Ah,
you for putting yourself out there and having, the confidence to do so, because I'm confident, but there's just some things that I won't do. But I like
yeah.
that you do it. I live
Yeah.
vicariously through you. And I think other people are probably like that as well,
Yeah.
so.
I know, like, especially like with brand application ambassador applications come out, they're like, I don't got the confidence, but you should do it. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
should do it because it's for you, not for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I just hope like, for me, whenever I created my page back in 2017, I was like, I just want a page where people feel like they're safe. And it's like, hey, there's this girl and she just runs and she likes to run.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got the thick thighs, so she knows about the shorts that don't roll up. She knows about the shaping. I might share some bras here and there because finding a good supportive bra is hard these days. Without spending an arm and a leg.
Listen, girl, you mentioned those shorts, okay? I retired all of those 3-inch shorts because the shorts are not it. They just like roll, and I found some cute 6-inch shorts on Amazon with pockets on the side.
Oh, I think I've been seeing a lot of these be shared. I'm gonna have to
They
try them.
are bae. They don't move. They stay in place. I'm like, this is it. I'm done with
There's
those little
some,
shorts.
yeah, there's some that Roadrunner Sports has sent me from their Corso line. They were like the compression ones, 6-inch with the pockets. Oh, they are comfortable. I wear them all the time. If I could wear like them every single day, I probably would. So I'm gonna have to go buy me more. But I love, you know, but yeah, like I said, whenever I made my page, I just kind of wanted a space where I could share things, because I think for me, especially in the beginning of my running journey, I didn't know that there was things for like leg shaping. I didn't know, hey, I have this pain. What should I get? Or, hey, this shoe doesn't work for me, but everyone else loves it. Is there other shoe recommendations, So I think for me, that was like kind of my biggest thing, but also just connecting with other runners like me. Like, and now look. If you had told me in 2017 this would have happened, like
look at you now. Now, speaking of that, like how have things changed for you? Because your platform is growing.
Yeah,
You're being exposed to brands. Like how has that changed
for
you in
me,
the big picture?
I was like, oh, I'm nobody. Like, I just want to just share my runs. And then when it started growing, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what's happening here, but all right. For me though, I have gotten to work with some brands and it's been really cool. I've gotten some paid partnerships. I didn't realize that just by posting stuff on social media, you can make an income off of it. So I have been able to like make a couple hundred here and there and stuff like that off of like brand collaborations. And it's really helped me like be like, okay, let me learn how to take pictures this way, or let me edit stuff this way. And then I just love reels. I like making stuff. Like I just
Your
love.
reels are funny. Why were your husband came home from work and you were like, I'm out of here? Oh yeah. I was crying.
Every time I'd be like, bye. Like that's my window of opportunity right there. Okay.
Yes. I love it.
But yeah, I love creating stuff. I love making stuff. And I just okay, 1 minute. It was fun. But I just love creating stuff. And now it's like, oh, some brands will see it and they'll be like, hey, we want to collaborate with you. And it's just crazy. Like I never would have thought, like, because you see the influencers and stuff and you're just like, oh, I don't fit in with that. Like, that's not me. And then it's like, oh, here I am doing it. And it's like, oh, wow, I never would have imagined. So it's always really cool. It's like, I would have never thought.
You know what? You're carving your own path. You're making your own lane. You don't have to be an influencer or follow what these influencers. You're doing you. And it's working.
And that's what my friend tells me all the time. I mean, she always keeps me grounded. I'm like, okay, is this happening? And she's like, yeah, it's happening. I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, she's always been very supportive. I mean, if I ever make it, she's gonna have to be my social media manager. So I ain't gotta see these mean comments. Like,
I love it. I love it. I
but
hear that.
no, it's just crazy to think. And I'm very glad for the, what I have gotten. And I do want to hopefully start making more opportunities happen for others. I didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. I shared about this a bit ago. Like, we couldn't afford like running shoes for me and stuff like that. So ultimately, my goal would be to just try to help kids in my own communities or communities around me, and making sure that they can do stuff like running or just playing a sport in general.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be my ultimate goal out of social media. If I could make that happen, I would love to.
And you know what? The next time you have a brand partnership, ask the brand about that, because they have budgets for, community service projects, and they love to give away free swag. So
yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do, that because it's like I would love to make sure, like, hey, you know what? Let's take care of other people. Like, I'm at a place where I'm comfortable, but I want to help others. And if my little platform once upon a time, when I made it to now can help others, then hey, I'm doing something right. I don't want to be one of those that doesn't help others. Like, I always say this, like, people gave me a platform and I always want to give back to people. So that's always my goal. That's why I do giveaways all the time. I'm like, y'all help me, so let me help you.
Exactly. And that's, you're just building all that good karma. So what you're aspiring for, it will happen in due time. It will happen.
I hope so. I would love to.
But on that note, I want to thank Brandy for being on the Runwave podcast. It was a pleasure finally meeting you in person. Kind of in person, virtually in person.
I know, I'm shy this whole time. I'm like,
you were two girls just chatting, about stuff and just a normal conversation. So tell everybody where they can find you on socials.
So you can find me at Brandy the Runner _ on Instagram. I'm on TikTok as Brandy the Runner, as well as Twitter. So you can find me anywhere. I use Instagram more, and I also have a YouTube, but it's kind of, in the dumps right now. But if you wanna follow me on YouTube, it's Brandy Talamoni. So
I will leave all of Brandy's links down below so you can follow her and follow her on Instagram, because she cracks me up. She's body positive, body conscious, and she's, inclusive, which I love. So
yeah,
thank you again for being on the show, Brandy. And
thank you.
We'll catch y'all in the next one.
Yeah. All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. I want to thank Brandy for appearing on the Runwave podcast. It was such a great time chatting with her, getting to finally meet her virtually. Kind of in person, but virtually. But it was such a good chat with her, and I hope you learned a little bit more about her and learn to actually be nicer to others, especially when you're online. Just because you don't know someone in real life does not mean that you can say whatever the heck that you want to them online. So thank you again for tuning into this episode of the Runwave podcast, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Later. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Runwave. If you are a runner that has a story to tell, feel free to email hello@therunwave.com or shoot me a DM on Instagram at The Runwave. Don't forget to follow The Runwave on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We are The Runwave on all platforms. Subscribe to our email list. It is listed down below in the notes of this show. And subscribe to The Runwave on YouTube. The visual episode of this show will be posted there.